All right. The last division in the AFC and the worst division in the AFC South. We'll start with the Houston Texans coming into the season. Their projected win total was 9.5. We both went over. I think we went hard over. They were your Super Bowl pick in the in the AFC, which they still could be. At least they made the playoffs and won a playoff game. But yeah, we both went over. They won. They got it by half a game, which they didn't need to. They could have won the division at 9-8. But anyway, what did we get right about this team, and what did we get wrong?
I think we didn't predict how much regression we saw from CJ Stroud, right? He doesn't look great this season. Rookie year, he looked better, so it's kind of shocking where most quarterbacks step forward most years. To see that kind of regression from him, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like the O-line doesn't play as well. I think he doesn't have as much time. He loses Diggs, but he still has and Nico Collins doesn't play, so he's kind of down wide receivers. And then Tank Dell has a season-ending injury towards the end there, so he doesn't have his like usual cast of guys. I think they lean a little bit more on the run game too. Like Joe Mixon has they bring in Joe Mixon, so they lean a little more that way. And I think even the defense regresses a little bit. They're about league average, but hey, he looked pretty good in that playoff game last week. So I don't know. Maybe CJ Stroud's finding his groove again with a healthier Nico Collins and all that stuff. I mean, they got to go to Kansas City, and it's a tough task. But hey, maybe I'm still right, Khaled. Maybe they still do make the Super Bowl. But yeah, just a lot of regression from a team that surprised people last year.
Yeah, they were 19th in total offense, 14th in defense. So defense was, like you said, league average. The big regression from Stroud, I think you kind of said it, is that all his top targets missed significant time. Stephon Diggs played 8 games. Tank Dell played 10 or 11. Nico Collins played 12. And they all missed time at different parts of the season. So he didn't have consistency with his weapons. And the big thing was the offensive line. He got sacked, I looked it up, 38 times his rookie year, which is pretty good. That's twice a game. I think he only played 14 games. But this year he got sacked 52 times. So significantly more. And that's, of course, not counting the QB hits and the pressures and all that other stuff. So I think he didn't have as clean of a situation and as clean of a pocket because of that offensive line. So I think that really chalks it up. You can just kind of wipe it away from that. But the defense was good. They got good pieces there. They were in a soft division, and they took advantage of it. So I wouldn't overreact or panic to what we saw from C.J. Stroud this year. I think he'll come back stronger next year. Speaking of panicking and overreacting, the Indianapolis Colts. Projected win total coming into the season was 8.5. We both went over, and they went just a half game under at 8-9. And there was just a lot of things, a lot of drama on this team. So what did we get right about this? Or sorry, what did we get wrong about the Colts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really predicted how much Anthony Richardson would struggle this year. We thought, okay, pretty solid. Then he got hurt. He'll bounce back. He'll step forward. He struggled early on in the season. Like, he could not make those throws that people, with like those tight window throws that people wanted him to make. He's got a strong arm. He can throw it deep, but he couldn't make reads. He looks like he's missing open receivers. He looks like he's like trying to force the ball too much. And then I don't know if he was hurt or they just I think they decided to just bench him from Joe Flacco, even though he's like somewhat healthy, and they just bench him from Joe Flacco, and then they're like 4 games afterwards, they're like, all right, come back, Anthony Richardson, let's see what you can do. Like, kind of a weird approach. I think they just asked too much from him this year, and then on top of that, their defense was just bad. So those two things kind of combined, a lot of just drama with Anthony Richardson and his situation. It's just a weird situation. I mean, it was just strange. They just kept going back and forth between him and Flacco, and then I think he gets hurt as well at some point in the season as well. Like, so I don't know. I think they asked too much from him, and he couldn't deliver that.
Okay, but before I give my answer, guess his completion percentage this year.
You 59%.
47.
Holy crap, dude! That is horrendous. Oh my god.
I know it was even 47%. So 47% completion rate, 8 touchdowns, 12 picks. I mean, that's not counting his rushing stats, but this is still his rookie year. He still hasn't played combined, between his 2 seasons, 16 or 17 games. You don't quite give up hope. I think The drama around him was that game. I forget who the opponent was, but he pulled himself out of the game. He did the little helmet tap they do in the NFL, where people were like, quarterbacks are allowed to do that? And they asked him about after the game, and he just said, I was tired. He should have lied. He should have said, I felt a little tightness in my hammy or something like that, or a stinger. Because it was coming off a run where he got tackled. It looked kind of awkwardly, and then he does the helmet tap to come out of the game for a play or two. So he should have just lied. But there's all this stuff after the fact that people are comparing him to Jamarcus Russell, and the fact that he's not studying the playbook, he's not taking things seriously, and it's unfortunate because he seemed like a good dude, and hopefully all this stuff is just rumors for the front office trying to protect themselves. But yeah, they have a big question mark at quarterback coming into next season. A team that does not have a question mark at quarterback, I don't think, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So coming into the season, their projected win total was 8.5. We both went under, and they went well under, going 4-13. So what did we get right about this team?
I mean, we just knew they were going to struggle. Trevor Lawrence doesn't, I think he misses, 7 games? He hasn't played the whole season. They just don't look good on defense. We kind of predicted that. We're like, offense will just be whatever. It'll be okay. And obviously, they don't play well with Mac Jones at the helm for a while. They do have a stud wide receiver in Brian Thomas, who looked even better with Mac Jones at quarterback for whatever reason as the season went on. But outside of that, I don't know. Should you be excited as a Jaguars fan? I don't think so, because you're locked into Trevor Lawrence and you have Brian Thomas. But what else do you have outside of those two?
Not much. You got a couple good pass rushers. What's his name? Trevon Walker, and Josh Hines Allen. So you're like, okay, at least we have that, but not much else on this team. Travis Etienne was a first round pick a couple of years ago. He lost his job. So just not much going on. Not much positive. The only thing you could say is, okay, Trevor missed 7 games, and we have a chance to add like a real difference maker, probably on defense. I think they're picking 5th overall. So maybe they go out and get like Mason Graham from Michigan, stud D tackle, just something to spice up that defense, especially in a division where it's like all you really need is 10 games to win this division, and you can't get that. So it started off well there with Doug Peterson, but it just fell apart, and then obviously he's fired on the first day of the offseason. And at least they don't need to draft a quarterback. I don't think they've given up on Trevor Lawrence just yet. They just gave him a lot of money, so he's going to be there for a little while. But just a big mess there that they need to clean up. Last team here, the last and least in the whole NFL, because they end up with the first pick in the draft somehow. I really did not predict this, but the Tennessee Titans, they projected win total coming into the season 6.5. You went over, I went under. What did you get wrong about this pick?
I was a little too confident in Will Levis and his ability to carry this offense. That's what I got wrong. Yeah, they just were terrible on offense. But somehow they get good seasons from, I think Tony Pollard has a pretty decent season. TJ Spears comes onto his own towards the end of the season. Calvin Ridley looks pretty solid. I mean, I guess that's expected when they got Brian Callahan at the as the head coach, and he's got a good offensive mind. So I think they just need a quarterback. Defense was okay. They could probably get 1 or 2 pieces on the defense, and then they might be a surprise team next year if they get a pretty good quarterback like Sanders or Cam Ward, and that guy holds his own out there, and they could be pretty good.
Yeah, Pollard and Ridley both had 1,000-yard seasons, which is not expected. It was one of those teams where, I mean, obviously I don't follow them that closely, but you just didn't know who was going to start at quarterback, and it almost didn't matter. I'd be watching Red Zone, and they'd be like, all right, over to the Tennessee Titans, where Mason Rudolph threw a pick. And then 30 minutes later, it's like, all right, back to the Tennessee Titans, where Will Levis had the worst turnover you've ever seen in your life. So it was just kind of like a comedy every week, just something different. But they do have talent, right? Spears was good, Pollard was good, Calvin Ridley's good. Westbrook Akina, he had like that weird fantasy stretch where he was catching 2 touchdowns a game for a couple weeks. So there's talent there. The defense was not great statistically, but it's one of those things where if your offense is horrendous, your defense is probably going to be too. So it's another one where they probably draft Shador Sanders. I think he makes the most sense. And I know supposedly Dion is going to control where he ends up. And I mean, Tennessee's not a bad place to be. I think he doesn't want him to go to the Browns, is the rumors.
Yep.
But,
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
worse
now
places.
the rumors are now Dion might take over the Cowboys and then try to trade up for his son. So we'll find
Well,
out.
they'd have to trade. Let's see. The Cowboys are now picking 12th,
Yeah.
and they
I mean,
have
the rumor
no
is
cap space.
they trade Dak to the number one pick to the Titans. That's the rumor, or to the Browns, wherever Sanders falls. But they may go all the way up to one, trade Dak there, trade the 12th pick, something like that, and try to take Sanders.
I mean, if you're Tennessee, I don't
I
know.
would do it if I'm Tennessee. I might do that. I might do that. I'm like, damn, I can get Dak and proven quarterback, and I got some weapons for him out here. I might do that. He's already played with Tony Pollard. I consider
Yeah,
it.
that's no. You got me thinking. He might be the second. I mean, is he better than C.J. Stroud?
Hmm.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
there's an
yeah.
argument. Well, C.J. Stroud this year, yeah, he's better than him. Trevor Lawrence, yeah, I'd say so. So yeah, he's arguably the best quarterback in that division. So that's an interesting a little wrinkle because I was like, I don't think Cleveland can afford Dak because he's making a ton of money. But Tennessee, I mean, they don't have many stars on the books, so I think they could probably afford him. I'd probably have to look it up, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, Jerry Jones is getting old. Maybe he's just like, I'm gonna gamble and then hire Dion
Maybe,
and see what
maybe,
happens.
maybe. Let's see. I mean, they definitely talked about it. Dion said that much. Derry Jones called him up about it. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what Dion does, and let's see what they make of it. But that'd be
I
interesting.
might
That'd be
need
a
to. Yeah, I'm saying I might need to turn on my Twitter notifications for Adam Schefter.
yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, I got him on. I got him on. Let's start
Or what's
reading
his
this.
name? That Ari Meirov guy, the NFL sports update or
Yeah,
my
Rap
sports
Report.
update or
You
whatever.
got to get those two
Yeah,
guys for sure.
all
Yeah,
those guys, all those guys.
for sure.
Well, this was fun, man. I think for the most part we did pretty well. You know what I should have done? I should have gone and looked our records, but I think for the most part on our spreadsheet, I'm seeing a lot of green. So we'll have to look and compare, see who got the most right, and maybe
All
we
right.
just track this for next year because we'll definitely be doing another over under pod coming in probably August, September, during training camp or preseason at some point. But we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to hit that follow, like, subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching this podcast. Appreciate you and appreciate you, Sulman.